speculations are in. Nick has just lied to June about his marriage, and he brought June pictures of her daughter Hannah being safe and sound. This just in, he's actually married to Hannah, and he's hiding it from June. Yeah, we know it's a lot to swallow. So let's take it apart and try to digest it like that. Don't swipe or click away, because here is what we know about The Handmaid's Tale, Hannah and Nick's marriage.
She was scared of me. She was scared of my baby.
We know. This is a lot to process. It's a punch in the throat and we can't swallow it. But let's try to see why people are saying this. Why people have actually even considered this as a possibility. Everything started in episode 3 of season 4. In this episode, before June made a run for it, she met with Nick on the bridge while she was escorted by the guards. During the brief encounter, she told him about the second close encounter she had with her daughter Hannah. And if we remember correctly, she's referring here to the scene in which Hannah is locked up in a glass cage, minding her own business, and then all of a sudden starts screaming the moment she sees June. Can you imagine living in a dictatorship so bad that your own daughter doesn't recognize your face? And not only that, she's deathly afraid of you. June tried talking to her, but the little girl wouldn't move. When she saw what they had done, June gave them all the information they required and then recounted the whole story to Nick. She told him how it broke her heart. Her own daughter, her own flesh and blood, not recognizing her own mother. The brainwashing goes to such an extent that they're able to make a child forget the mother that brought them up. As the tears rolled down her cheek, Nick apologized and promised that he would bring Hannah home. But June couldn't take it. She walked away from there. A few seconds later, they both turned, and June ran towards Nick, kissing him passionately on the lips. Taken up by the heat of the moment, they both realized that they truly love each other. So they actually say the 3 most difficult words in the world: I love you. After this, June broke free and managed to escape from Gilead with one of her friends. Sadly, they were the only 2 to make it. Now, because so many things happened in this episode, we didn't really pay much attention, but some fans have come out to say that Nick actually brought Hannah to the commanders to blackmail June. Now, hear us out before you burn us at the stake. Before we talk about episode 9 with all its twists and turns, don't forget to smash that like button. It keeps the almighty YouTube algorithm happy, and you keep getting these videos for free. 5 episodes later in the season, after June testified against Fred and wanted to bring the dictator to justice, Nick came to June. Before this, June and Luke, her former husband, were fighting tooth and nail to get their hands on Hannah and pull her out of Gilead. When they asked Commander Lawrence to do it, but he denies it, telling them that it's out of its control. Yeah, right. Luke and June then come up with a plan to meet with Commander Nick, June's ex-lover, or still lover, or we don't know, it's complicated. Now, they meet at a safe house, and June has the Canadian Secret Service right behind her. They give them a minute to talk, and it's here that Nick brings June the best gift of all. He tells June that he has photos of her daughter. As soon as she sees Hannah actually raised well and taken care of, even though she's still inside the dictatorship, June is overwhelmed with joy. She thanks Nick, and they both kiss each other. For old time's sake, right? Maybe? Anyways, June tells him how much she appreciates him risking his life for her daughter, and they go their separate ways. But that's not the end of the scene, is it? Of course not! As June and Nicole say goodbye to Papa, Papa was watching the car leave the driveway. As soon as these 2 left, Nick reached into his pocket and pulled out a golden ring. Was he going to propose? Nope, he was already taken. He put the ring on, which told us that Nick actually got married during that 5-episode break he had from June.
Is this her home, or is this her school?
Yeah, domestic art. She's a good student.
If we go to Entertainment Weekly and read the interview with Eric Tuchman, we can clearly see that this is all normal. He said, quote, he keeps it a secret from June because he's not going to dump this revelation on her and spoil their very brief encounter. And for me, the sequence with June and Nick should feel like a brief respite, a little haven for them to be together with their baby daughter, like a family, away from the pressure and stress of everything that's going on in their lives. And I think Elisabeth Moss as a director, working with our DP Stuart Biddlecombe, and as an actress with Max, created such a beautiful and heartbreaking sequence. So from this, we can safely say that it was just convenient for Nick to leave his ring in his front pocket the entire time. But wait a second, didn't he have the time to confess this when they handed Fred over to June? They organized this plan beforehand, so that means these two were communicating. Why didn't Nick mention it somewhere, anywhere? I mean, it's just common sense. You don't want to have someone hooked on you when you know there's no way you two are ever going to be together. But Tuchman still kept defending Nick. It was as if he had something to hide. The thing is, he added, of course he got married in Gilead. Nick is probably top of the most eligible commanders. He's a power player on the rise. He's a handsome man of mystery, and Gilead demands its version of traditional family values. So naturally, Nick couldn't stay single for very long. Them not revealing Nick's bride added just enough oil to the fire to set it ablaze, and it almost engulfed everything in its path. You see, they started speculating on who's taken on the role of Nick's wife. They think that Nick has been married to Hannah. However, this is only speculation.
I need you. I need your help.
No.
Yes.
They
They
don't give a
need
shit about
information. Nick.
We know Nick too well to think that he would ever marry June's daughter. It's just him moving on with his life and June moving on with hers. It seems logical not to mention that you're married when you've just met someone you love for a 10-minute talk session. It's only going to cause trouble. Now, all of that being said, Nick taking those photos of Hannah without being noticed is a little hard to do, especially in Gilead. Fair enough, we know he's one of the commanders and power players in the country, but that still doesn't excuse him to do this. Everyone in Gilead knows that this is June's daughter, and they know how valuable her life is. The reason that Nick was able to get those photos without any trouble, at least not that we know of, leads us to think that he is dangerously close to Hannah. Now, don't get us wrong, we don't think Nick married Hannah because he wanted to. We think it could have been the case that Hannah was given to Nick just like his former wife was. And knowing that this would cause June a lot of harm, the other commanders forced this woman upon him. It's not the first time for them to give teenage girls as wives for generals. Did you see the wives they were given during the Thanksgiving ceremony? They were still kids, children who were brainwashed by the system into thinking that it's their duty to serve a man. Ugh, just talking about it makes our blood boil. And on the other hand, if Nick isn't married to Hannah, it still means he has some submissive wife to boss around, which is no good in either case. Seriously, at this point, Nick should just run from Gilead.
Commander. And Lawrence. Guys will take the prisoner into custody.
On a related note, do you think Nick is married to Hannah or someone else? You can tell us in the comments section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.